I'll take any questions now.
Going back to Shaddal and the Ralbag approach, where do we see the word shofet meaning legislator? Usually seems to be more traditional.
Right. So we see, so Ben Amozeg quotes the pasuk of Shofetim v'Shoterim, that the shofet over there seems to be a leader or a legislator, a leader of the people.
Legislator or judicial system?
Right. Well, the problem with the language is l'shoftenu kechol hagoyim. What would that mean? It would seem to be in Ben Amozeg's approach that l'shoftenu kechol hagoyim means to judge us according to the laws of the goyim. So that was what he had a problem with. And the only way he could do that in Amon Yisrael, to judge us according to the laws of the goyim, that's the way he understood it, is being a legislator that legislates according to the goyim. I mean, it could be a judge, but you're judging based on foreign rules and foreign laws. And the only way you could do that is by legislating these foreign rules. So that's really what Ben Amozeg thinks is the problem. Again, his point is that it's the one unique word that's added in that's not in Pirashat Shoftim when we pick the king. It's that one word that the people throw in and that Shmuel focuses on, which is the actual, it's almost the exact script of the Chumash, but that word added. Yes?
Just to follow up that question, why would it be a logical time to ask for that right after they're not happy with Shmuel's son's leadership? I don't see that as like a natural
Right. In other words, why? Well, the question. So why you're saying why at this point would they dafka ask l'shoftenu kechol hagoyim? Well, it's a good question. I don't have an answer, but it might be that their frustration with Shemuel's sons, maybe they might have believed that the lofty goals of Shmuel leadership, according to the Torah and the purest form of the Torah, might be out of the reach, and they would be better to have a secular government than using the potential religious authority leadership when the religious authority gets corrupt. It could be. That's just a guess. I have no idea if that could be true. They might okay, so we just go secular leadership.
Could the argument be made that due to the fact that Shaul became king, he lost sort of his humility aspect when he sort of became very jealous of David? He was so self-deprecating before he was king. Maybe the kingship, the fact of being king, got to him and changed his personality.
So I hear what you're saying. I don't think so, because the Ruach Ra'ah doesn't come from David HaMelech. The Ruach Ra'ah comes, the bad spirit comes clearly in the text as almost a divine punishment for the story of Amalek. And the story of Amalek is a result clearly from Shaul's words, from Shmuel's words, from his humility. When he gets the Ruach Ra'ah, when he gets that bad spirit in him, that lunacy, whatever it might be, of course, nobody could do right by him. And everyone is now, there's this paranoia of that everyone is out to get him. And David HaMelech is, of course, the kin'ah and the jealousy and I'm sure that, of course, eats away at the humility. That's true. The kin'ah and the jealousy seems to be, at least within the simple reading of the text, a result of the Ruach Ra'ah, not the cause of the Ruach Ra'ah.
This also, you clearly see Shaul really has no religious or spiritual background to the point where everyone says, like, I'm Shaul ben Aviim, and even more so, he doesn't know who Shemuel is.
Right.
Which is, a bothering point, but according to, everything he's saying over here, it really could be that he really has no idea. And that's why he was chosen to be king, because he would be the one.
Right, but it's funny that God chooses Shaul, not the people.
He has no religious background whatsoever.
I don't know, that might be a question to Ben Amozeg, not a support, because our thesis was that the people were looking for a secular leader, and Shmuel is upset at that, and he wants to give them the king not to be a secular legislator. By the way, I'll take that back, but that's fine, actually, because there's no problem, and Ben Amozeg says this himself, there's no problem with the king being a secular leader as long as he doesn't mess up with law. If the king is just a sarsava, a military rule, that's fine. That's fine, says Ben Hamuzeng. But if he's going to be a shofet, he has to be a shofet according to Torah law. So it very well be, what you're saying might be true, that Shemuel says, okay, this is the king you want, fine, he's not a shofet. He will be a B, C, Mishpat HaMelech, and you might be right. He may have been presented that type of a person. So it's true, what you're saying could be true. Yeah.
We're saying overall that it was a positive thing to have a kingship, but then we see that only after a couple of kings did the Malchut
Right, it doesn't really last.
So what's the situation?
Right, we only have very few kings who actually rule a united melucha, right? It's really three: Shaul, David, and Shlomo. After that, it just falls apart. It's true that the unity of the kings, but there is a Davidic lineage. There is a hereditary lineage that stays till the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. The Davidic, in other words, the hereditary leadership is what is and like I said, king is good potentially. King could also be bad depending on the king. But I would say one other thing, and this when we get to Sefer Melachim. Just compare the kings, the hereditary kings of Yehudah, to the non-hereditary kings of Israel, and you'll find tremendous bloodshed and destruction and murder and intrigue in Israel, and it's almost as bad as they get in Yehudah. That's almost non-existent. So the hereditary lineage might be also that part of that essence of that positive thing.